Hello students, this is my next video lecture on Bye Bye Blackbird. I have started discussing the novel Bye Bye Blackbird, which is prescribed in your third semester. Now, the experience of exile, cultural conflict, human relationship, existential problems. Now, these are the common problems of 20th century literary scene, and they are very common in the novels of Anita Desai. This novel, as I told you in my previous video lecture, mirrors the complexity of human relationships. There are three major characters: Adit, Dev, and Sarah. The novel mainly deals with the problems in immigrants, alienation, love-hate relationship, lack of adjustment, and existentialism. When you read the novel, you find out that the novelist has also described, rather raised the issue of East-West encounter. Now, Iyengar at one place said that it is a story of human relationship and cultural differences. Now, once again, I am trying to recapitulate the basic idea which I discussed in my previous video lecture. I told you that this novel consists of three parts. Part 1 is entitled Arrival. Part 2 is entitled Discovery and Recognition. And Part 3 is entitled Departure. Now, in Part 1, the major characters which I have just told you, Adit, Dev, and Sarah, they are introduced. Adit and Dev are two exiles of Indian origin, and Sarah is an English wife of Adit. Now, when you read the character of Adit, you will find out that in the novel, the novelist has tried to show him as an Anglophile. So, Adit, the image of Adit is of an Anglophile, and Dev is presented as an Indophile. Anglophile means lover of English art and culture, everything English, and Indophile means lover of everything Indian. Now, in part 2 is entitled Discovery and Recognition. The chief focus is laid on the character of Adit, who recognizes his own position on the alien land and concludes that I am an outsider here, I am always treated as an outsider here. That this is a kind of discovery and recognition. He suffers from identity crisis and sense of alienation. Part 3 is Departure. That is the ending of the novel, where Adit is bidden farewell by England. He departs for his own country, India, because he says that my real life will start there. Now, one can observe the fragmented psyche of the immigrant blackbirds who find themselves trapped in an alien land. The agony of being treated as an outsider, accepting but not acceptable, becomes an aching sadness for them. They are overcome by loneliness and alienation, and this makes them feel sometimes as bewildered aliens and at other times as outraged outsiders. Now, the difference between because I have just told you the cultural conflict is also one of the important themes of this novel, East-West encounter, cultural difference, cultural conflict. Now, the difference between the two cultures leads to alienation in the novel. Now, born and brought up in India, Dev and Adit suffer from a loss of identity and a crippling sense of gradual social uprooting. Cultural dichotomy is at the back of the despair and discontentment that they experience in England. Now, all these points I am going to tell you by analyzing the characters of Adit and Dev. You can better understand this aspect. Now, Adit Sen, the hero of the novel, settles in London and marries Sarah, an English woman. Now, he loves England, admires Nelson and his battles, Waterloo, Churchill, anything and everything England. And that is why in the beginning I told you that he is a kind of Anglophile. On the other hand, he holds quite the opposite view of India. Adit's excessive fondness and fascination for English life is a kind of colonized mental state, servile mentality, and due to long dominance, a kind of brainwashing. His brain was completely washed. He belongs to let me quote a very popular line. He belongs to a class of persons Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinions, in morals, and in intellect. Now, to Adit, everything about London is captivating. Now, in the novel, when you read this novel at page number 164, there is a line where he says that, I love England, I can appreciate her history and poetry as much as any English man. And he continues this, time and again he appreciates the English life. In this novel at page number 18, he appreciates London life and he says that I like the pubs, I like the freedom a man has here, economic freedom, social freedom. I like reading the posters in the tube. Oh, I must take you to see my favorites, two of them hanging side by side. These are the, and then he continues, I like the Thames, I like weekend at the seaside, I even like the BBC. So, he appreciates English life. Now, whenever Adit appreciates English life, Adit's exhortations face a rebuttal at Dev's hand. And he calls him, there is a line in the novel that Dev calls him boot-licking toady, a spineless, imperialist lover. Now look at this line which is used by Dev for Adit. Boot-licking toady, spineless, imperialist lover. And Dev, criticizes Adit by saying, by calling him boot-licking toady. Now, when you look at the personality of Adit, you find out that he has molded and transformed himself entirely up to the expectations of England and fully adopted the lifestyle of Britishers. Time and again, he keeps comparing England with his own native land and openly criticizes India for its traditionality and backwardness. And I think you must see such kind of characters even today also who, criticize the present scenario. They don't like, for example, if you live in Gorakhpur, for example, so they don't appreciate Gorakhpur, or if you live in a particular state, so they don't like, they always criticize it, and they prefer the other city or other state or other country, as in the case of Adit. He says that Indians are backward, they are very traditional, and he actually shares his experiences of India, and his experiences in India were not very pleasant. He told Dev that earlier in India, he was doing the clerical job in some government of India tourist bureau, and he was getting only 250 rupees. This was the salary, actually, stipend which he was getting as a job of clerk in India, 250 rupees. And then, in a very sarcastic tone, he says, there is a line which he used at page number 18. He says that all I could find was a ruddy clerking job in some government of India tourist bureau. They were going to pay me 250 rupees, and now look at this line, which is very sarcastic. After 30 years, I could expect to have 500 rupees. That is what depressed me. Now, so the point is that this is a very sarcastic tone. We say after 30 years, I could expect to have 500 rupees in India. Now, in India, at another place, at page number 49, he says that, what should I say about India? Because India is, synonymous with lethargy, laziness. In India, he only notices the laziness of the clerks and the unpunctuality of the buses and trains and the beggars and the flies and the stench and the boredom of it. Now, this is actually the line which he uses in the novel at page number 49. Now, so he finds, India full of, lethargy, full of, laziness. Now, Adit, whose brain has been washed completely by colonial power, looks down upon Indian life and glorifies the British life. To him, England is a country of golden opportunities, opulence and employment. When Dev declares that he had come to England to make the right approaches, Adit at once retorts hatefully and sarcastically, because I'll tell you later that Dev has come to England to get admission in London School of Economics. So, Dev has come to England for this purpose, and Adit has come to get a good job, because in India he was getting, he was doing the clerical job and he was getting only 250 rupees per month. Now, so when Dev declared that he had come to England to make the right approaches, Adit at once retorts hatefully and sarcastically, and he says, "Do you think you can get into an English college by sending the principal a basket of mangoes?" This is there at page number 8, actually. Now, look at the sarcastic statement of Adit. "Do you think you can get into an English college by sending the principal a basket of mangoes? All you can do is fill in the forms, pay the entrance fees. There is no such thing as bribery here, Now, you can guess the personality of, Adit. Now, through the statement of Adit, it seems as if no one could get admitted in a school or get anything done in India without greasing the palm. Now, in praise of, English country and nature, Adit says, he appreciates and praises, the climate of England. So, at page number 129, there is a line, and there is no death at all, everything, there is no death at all, everything, animal, vegetable, mineral is alive, rich and green and forever. This is actually the line. Beauty of English country is brought into brighter relief by contrast with India, always tormented by climatic extremes and natural calamities such as famine, floods, drought and epidemic. To Adit, things are, really bright in England. Again, the reference is there at page number 129. The line is very significant where Adit says, "Here the rain falls so softly and evenly, never too much and never too short. The sun is mild, the earth is fertile, the rivers are full, the birds are plump, the beasts are fat, everything, so wealthy, so luxuriant, so fortunate." This is actually from the novel at page number 129. Now, When Dev feels disgusted to see a couple hugging each other under a lamppost and remarks about the obscenity of these people as a bunch of exhibitions. There is a context in the novel where Dev finds a couple actually hugging each other under a lamppost, and he says, "What rubbish is this? It's a bunch of exhibitions. What are these people doing? This is something which is only a show." And Dev says, I can never expect such kind of thing in India. England, what kind of England is this that people are making this vain show, and this is kind of obscenity? Adit, again very sarcastic in his remark, and Adit says, Adit made a prompt reply, you never find all these things in India. I agree with you. I agree with you that, there is no such thing like, hugging each other under the lamppost. This you think is obscenity. And I think, no, there is a statement in the novel at page number 67. Now, the line is, Adit says, again, a very sarcasm is there. Adit says, "Oh, no, there are not any. Not unmarried ones. And the married ones are not in the parks. They are at home quarreling." Now look at this statement where Adit says, "No, there are not any, not unmarried ones, and the married ones are not in the parks. They are at home quarreling." And then he comes up with a concluding remark, and he says, "In India, too much goes on in the dark." So look at the personality of Adit and his perspective, his attitude towards India. Now, you see, Adit's transformed personality adores the beauty of British culture, but somewhere at the very core of his heart lies his intense love for his own motherland. He was aware of the fact that being a blackbird, he could not be promoted to the higher posts. So, in the expatriates, both desire and dislike for the West go side by side. Desire for the West is found in them as it is a land of opportunities. This is the line, this is a phrase which is used here. And at the same time, there is a dislike in them because they find racial discrimination, racial prejudice, exploitation, and marginalization. The Indianness which is ingrained in him gushes for and makes him nostalgic. The false pretensions he had about himself of being English is shattered when he faces the reality of being an alien. He wants to go back to India. Now look at the changed personality of India. You cannot continue with your artificial personality for a very long time. Like when you start speaking English, and when you want to give some artificial accent to your English, automatically that will become a very awkward. Okay, so you cannot continue with it for a very long time. You cannot continue with your pseudo personality for a very long time. So Adit, wants to go back to India, and he says there is a line at page number 48 in the novel where Adit says, he says, this time I'll go by air with a bag full of luxury goods from Woolsworth. When I have a whole month of leave saved up, I'll go. My mother will cook hilsa fish wrapped in banana leaves for me. My sister will dress Sarah in saris and gold ornaments. I will lie in bed till 10 every morning and sit up half the night listening to the Shehnai and Sitar. This is at page number 48. Look at a kind of feeling of Indianness which was there lying in his heart. On their wedding anniversary, Adit asked Sarah to wear a sari that his sisters had once sent her. He has now made up his mind to give up his half English self. And at page number 203, he says, "Oh no, England, England. I have done with England. Now, Sarah, I am going back. I have got to go home and start living a real life." So he wants to start a real life and he wants to bid farewell to England. The nationalist fervor arose in him when he heard that the war between India and Pakistan has broken out. Sarah, his wife, was not able to understand what was happening. Adit says, "You see why I must go. I am not being crazy. I am not thinking of going off to fight for the country. Nothing like that. The war will be over any minute and I am no soldier. It's nothing like that. But I must be in India. I have got to go home and start living a real life." This is again at page number 203. Now Sarai is pregnant at this time. The condition of Sarai is very bad. What to do? Because he has planned to go back to India. And Adit says that I wish that my son will be born in India. For Sarah, the whole episode was incomprehensible. She wondered. There is a line at page number 69 where where Sarah wonders how he had kept this amount of earning shut up and enclosed inside him for so long, releasing it now like dam that releases its water when it is full to bursting. This is there at page number 69. So you see, you'll find out that ultimately he decides to go back to India. He appreciates England in the beginning, but later on finds that England is not meant for him. So this was all about the character of Adit. I'll continue with it in my next lecture with the character of Dev also, that what is the reaction of Dev in England and how does he feel like. Then I'll discuss some issues in the third lecture, in my forthcoming lecture, and that lecture will be the concluding lecture. Thank you very much.